Every single day, you're just swimming in a sea of words. We're talking news headlines, emails, social media posts, you name it. But what if I told you that every single one of those texts has a hidden mission, a secret job it's trying to do? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to crack that code together.
Okay, look at this headline. It's a stark, factual statement from an article about a class of drugs called nitazenes. It's alarming, it's direct, and it definitely gets your attention, right? But believe me, behind this simple fact, there's a deeper game being played.
And that, right there, is the mystery we're here to solve. Is this just information, or is the author actually trying to make us think, feel, or maybe even do something specific? Asking this question is the key to becoming a much, much smarter reader.
To answer it, we're going to need a special tool. It's called Author's Purpose. And honestly, it's like the master key that unlocks the true meaning and intent behind pretty much any text you'll ever encounter.
So, what is it exactly? Well, to put it simply, author's purpose is the why. Why did the writer even create this thing? See, writers always have a reason, a goal they're trying to achieve with their words, whether it's super obvious or kind of carefully hidden.
And those reasons, you could call them missions, they usually fall into a few key categories. An author might want to inform you with facts, like in the textbook. Or maybe they want to persuade you to see their point of view. They could be trying to warn you about some danger. Or, hey, maybe just entertain you with a great story.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The big secret is that texts are rarely that simple. The most effective pieces of writing, kind of like that article we just saw, they're multi-layered. They're often trying to do 2 or even 3 of these things all at the exact same time. And that's what makes being a text detective so important.
So how do you do it? How do you actually spot these hidden missions? Don't worry, let's get you set up with a simple but really powerful toolkit to analyze any text that comes your way. Really, it all boils down to asking yourself 3 key questions. First, what's the writer's ultimate goal here? Are they trying to raise awareness, change my behavior? Second, who are they talking to? Is this for the general public, experts, parents? And third, and this is a big one, what kind of language are they using? The words themselves, those are the biggest clues. And you can think of this slide as your evidence locker. It shows you exactly how those clues work. See how if you spot a bunch of facts and statistics, the purpose is probably to inform. But if you see emotionally charged words and a call to action, well, that's persuasion. And if the text is full of phrases about danger and consequences, you're definitely looking at a warning. The language, it always leaves fingerprints.
All right, toolkit in hand, let's circle back to our case. It's time to put these new skills to the test and figure out exactly what that article about nitazenes is really trying to do.
Okay, first up, the most obvious purpose is to inform. The evidence is right there in plain sight. It explains what nitazenes are, it gives you scientific facts, it includes statistics. This is like the foundational layer. But that is definitely not the whole story. Because if you look just a little closer, there's a second, much more urgent purpose at play here, to warn. The writer isn't just neutrally presenting facts. No, they're using cautionary language. They're highlighting deadly consequences and risks. The whole tone shifts from a calm report to a blaring alarm bell. This isn't just news, it's a huge warning sign.
And yep, there's one more layer, a call to action. The article doesn't just leave you feeling scared. It's pushing for a response. By spotlighting treatments like naloxone and really stressing the need for public awareness, it's subtly nudging you, the reader. It's saying, okay, now you know, and you're warned, so here's what can be done. It wants to spur action.
So, our verdict is in. This article isn't just one thing. It's actually a really sophisticated, multi-layered message that masterfully weaves together information, a stark warning, and a subtle call to action. It's a seriously powerful piece of communication.
Okay, so we've cracked one case. But why does this skill matter so much in your day-to-day life? Well, because in a world that is just overflowing with information, being able to see the purpose behind the words, that's a superpower.
Seriously, when you can identify an author's purpose, everything changes. You stop being a passive consumer of information, just accepting what you're told. Instead, you become an active analyst of intent. You're no longer just reading the words on the page, you're reading the motive behind them. And that empowers you to think critically about every single message you receive.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. The very next thing you read today, doesn't matter if it's a news story, a marketing email, or a friend's social media post, just stop for a second and ask yourself, what is this text really asking of me? The answer might just surprise you.